Hello Libras, welcome to Embrace the Moon Tarot and your Tarotscope for April 2018. Right away, I am fixated on the mind and physical placements for this particular spread. So I'm doing my usual mind, body, emotion, and spirit or passion, present energy, strength, potential obstacle. And I am tapping into, like I said, right away, I'm really zeroing in on this. And I feel like these are so interwoven. I'm probably going to end up reading them together. It feels like I have to read them together. So mentally, there's just kind of a struggle. I feel that you're entering April with a struggle to rise above some personal internal critiquing, rising above self-judgment. It's really messing you up. You're kind of in your own head, and I'm not quite sure what triggered this, but something kind of brought this on. I don't know if it's something specific as much as just a conglomeration of events, but you're really struggling right now to quiet the inner critic, quiet the inner judgment, and rise above the inner judgment. You're just being very self-critical for some reason, and you're having a hard time quieting it, having a hard time disagreeing with it. You feel like you are bringing up all points that seem very valid, and so you find yourself agreeing with it, even when you don't want to agree with it, even when there's a part of you that knows you should not be agreeing with it, even though there's a part of you that understands completely that you are not what you are in your head saying that you are. So mentally, you're just it's pretty strong struggle, and it's very sudden. It's not like you built up to this. So even if there was a conglomeration of events that led to this versus an actual one specific incident, it doesn't matter what it was that kind of triggered this. It still was very sudden. You didn't just quietly begin to wonder one thing and then found a week later you were wondering broader than you anticipated. It just kind of came on suddenly. It's like one day you woke up and you were like, really too analytical for your own good regarding your life as it is right now. So this is what you enter, or the beginning of April is presenting to you. Now, somehow in links with that, it seems to be coming with a feeling of lack of control in your world as you know it. So something has happened, or again, a chain of events, whatever. There's something going on in your life that makes you feel as though you're really struggling to be in control of your life. And what's even harder than recognizing that you feel out of control is that you feel like you don't understand how you can get back into control. You don't understand how it happened. You don't understand how you could get control. Like there's just confusion of some facet when you're looking at this situation, the scenario, whatever's going on in your life, and you take a step back and you look at it. You're like, there's just so much going on. And you're like, I don't even know where to grab to get things back on track. I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know where the solid ground is. I don't know where the reins are. I don't know. It's really kind of almost, even when I'm zeroing in on this, I almost feel a bit of a panic just thinking about this. Like, it's just really, I want control, but I don't even know. I feel like I'm frozen. And there's nothing I can do to unfreeze myself. And in the process of trying to figure out how to unfreeze myself so that I can gain control of the situation, scenario, or my life as I know it, even if I could, I don't even know what to grab. I don't know what to go for. It's too much going on. I just feel like that just keeps coming to mind. Too much. It's just too much. It's just too much. So this is very intense energy, and I don't know that you so much felt it at the end of March. It feels very much in the beginning of April. Very, very much in the beginning of April. And I feel it's intertwined with the potential obstacle. I see this justice card in the potential obstacle for the month. And I just feel that for some of you, this might even have some legal stuff interwoven with it somehow. And those of you that it's not specific legal, it's still intense enough that the balance is very disheartening and very just really kind of upsetting your world as you know it. And I feel that this potential obstacle presents itself in the beginning of the month, and then the rest of the month is going to be maneuvering around it to the best of your ability. The rest of the month is doing what it is that you need to do so that you can shape shift through this, meander around what you need to meander, and come out as unscathed as you possibly can, considering the turn of events, the chain of events, the situation as you know it. So the potential obstacle feels like it's very much presented in the beginning of the month, and then that energy sort of is kind of lingering, and it fades the more you wander through the month and do what you need to do to kind of move and keep moving forward. The more the energy fades, but it happens, or it seems to be the thick of it, the strength of it seems to vibrate very much so in the beginning of the month. Very, very early days of April is when I'm really tapping into this particular energy. And so, and it's all interwoven, very, very heavily interwoven. And so then the present energy is Ace of Wands. And I don't feel that in the beginning of the month, this is you feeling presently that you are ready for action as much as you're really desiring to know what actions you're supposed to be taking. So like I said, that feeling of feeling frozen, that feeling of being frozen, is you just want to be out of that position. You want to be out of that feeling. You really are just searching for that point of action that you are being given by the universe to take. That, holy light of shining the way and giving you the wand to direct and give you whatever you need to kind of meander through this and get to the other side. I feel that that's the prominent energy of Ace of Wands in the beginning of the month, searching for that point of action, searching for that point of direction, searching for that first step that you know without a shadow of doubt that you should be taking, and you desire to take so much once you feel you can get unfrozen. And then this will shift as the month goes on. Like I said, it just feels like the beginning of the month feels very heavy, very strong. And then a lot of this seems to fade, and or the energy permeates through the month, and it shifts. So this is one of those energies that's going to be shifting. So as you move through the month of April, it'll shift from the feeling of desiring to know what action to be taking, desiring to be taking action, just needing direction, to eventually getting to the point where you understand the direction and you can start taking those first few steps. And like any good fire, when you go to build it, it takes a lot to build in the very, very beginning. So if you really actually think about building a fire, if you needed the fire for warmth or whatever, or to cook a meal or whatever the process may be, depending on what tools you have at your side, it could be as easy as flicking a Bic lighter and having, just something that as soon as you light it, it's lit. Or it could be something where the tools that you have actually require a little bit more work for you to get that first spark. But then also it needs to be fed so that it can grow to whatever you need it to grow to, so you can use it for whatever you need to use it for. That's kind of what I'm getting. So the process is going to shift from just searching for what that action is going to be, the guidance towards that action, to knowing and then using the tools you already have to do with whatever you need to do to build that fire. So you can do with it whatever you need to do. And the more you progress through April, the more that fire will go from the tools to the spark, to the flame, to the larger fire, to where you can do whatever it is you need to do with it. So that's the kind of energy, that's the way it's shifting through the month of April. Emotionally, we have the Eight of Swords in reverse. And I feel it's in reverse because the energy of March, as you transition, or sorry, not March, April, as you transition from the energy that I was speaking of in the beginning of this video, you're going to be going from feeling stuck to feeling like you can finally break free. You can see the situation for what it is. You can see the guidance that you've been looking for, the steps that you need to take, and the tools that you have at your disposal to do what you need to do to make the next step. And so it's just a matter of breaking free. And I think that's why this is in the reversed position. And there's just some connections. I think it's, and I don't know if the whole situation is, or if there's just one aspect of it that has to do with the emotions. But you're just going to get to a point where you're going to break free. However it is that you need to break free. And that's why that's in reverse. You actually are going to see that point of escape that you need so you can break free and make that shift or change that you need to make so that you can move on, get out of here, get unstuck, not feel frozen, and start the process. In the spirit of the passion, we have Father of Wands, and this is just really, really screaming to me about lighting your own fire, honestly. And I've already kind of tapped into it, and this is just validating it, reiterating it. Lighting your own fire is big for you. Manifesting what you want to manifest. And like I said, you'll get to that point. You'll move from feeling stuck and feeling the need to find that point of action and the guidance to make it, to seeing the tools that are around you, to building the fire. And this really speaks of that passion and that drive to build the fire, to manifest, to create, to burn through and make something new from it. And this is going to be very heavy, more towards the last 2 weeks. I think, like I said, that shift from the beginning of the video that I was talking about, it will shift. And I feel very, very heavily that you will be putting into it what you need to put into it to make the change that you need to be changing. And creating that blazing fire you need to forage through, to not be frozen any longer, to say the things that you need to say, to draw the boundaries that you need to be drawing, to make clear to other people that need to know what your stand is, so that you are no longer feeling you're taken advantage of. Whatever the case may be, you'll be foraging your own path. You'll get to that point. And I don't have any doubt in that whatsoever. Your strength for the month, we have the Four of Coins. And I really feel this is just speaking of balance. Balance. Your strength is creating that balance. Understanding each step of the way. Understanding why you feel frozen. Understanding why you can get unfrozen and what it takes from you, and then doing that, understanding the tools that you have and seeing them for what they are to build what you need to build, and balancing all of it, and very much so balancing the understanding of all of it is going to be your key. Just because you gain information regarding something, sometimes gaining the information isn't the end of the task. Understanding how it is applied to you personally, and understanding how you can apply it to your situation, sometimes is its own entity. So balancing what you know and keeping the flow open so that you can continue whatever process that you're on to get to the next step. And like I said, that step from feeling frozen and feeling the chaos and feeling the judgment, understanding how that applies, why it applies, understanding how you can break free from it. Understanding what's the next step, and then understanding how you can use what you have to take the next step. Like, it really can't say it enough, and I think you get the point. But yeah, finding that flow, that good balance that allows you to feel like you have solid footing. And I really feel like you can put it in and get to the end of the month and definitely feel that you have more solid footing at the end of April compared to the beginning of April. So I'm going to go ahead and pull one more card for you to kind of wrap it all up, pull it all together, and give you a little bow to kind of carry you through the month. So you so choose to carry it through the month. I find a deeper meaning and personal growth amid the discomfort. I'm always amazed at how much these particular cards, when I pull them, really resonate with the reading, and kind of wraps it all up and brings it all together, pulls it all together. So yeah, like I said, balancing the understanding. Just because we have the knowledge doesn't mean we actually understand how the knowledge is applicable. So for you, it's balancing that knowledge, finding the deeper meaning so you can grow and see the discomfort beyond the discomfort that it is, and see what you can grow from it. I really do feel that this is really a beautiful summary, and hopefully it'll be a beautiful mantra as you move through the rest of the month. All right, Libras, that is all I have for you. Please check out my Etsy shop for personal readings, and if you're interested. And the Patreon page that I've created has subscriptions which include weekly readings, new moon readings for each astrological sign, or a personal email for a personal reading at the beginning of the month. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful month. Make it a great one. Grow as much as your beautiful soul can possibly grow, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.